friends, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. In today's video, we are going to take a break from questing, and instead I've compiled all of my companion dialogue from Act 3 that I could trigger. Enjoy!
You must join us. Do you see that now? You must stand with Kirkwall's mages.
It's not my fight.
You can't hide in Sundermount. There is no place for you among the Dalish.
No, my clan is all I ever cared about. Everything I did for them.
On second thought, maybe don't try to help us. I suppose you're just thrilled how the Knight Commander's basically stepped into the Viscount's seat.
She can't stall the process forever. It's not her place. Leaving the Viscount's seat empty will just tempt people to fight for it. It will cause more trouble than it prevents.
Well, you've got a brain in there after all. I was convinced that headband was to keep it from falling out. I don't know how you live the way you do, blithely ignoring the consequences of your actions.
This is about the Canary thing, isn't it? I'm not ignoring it, I just recognize that it happened years ago. There's this fantastic thing called moving on. You should try it sometime.
Has it occurred to you that Kirkwall is only just recovering from the Canary attack?
And you want me to... what? Flog myself daily? Has it occurred to you that maybe there's no justice in the world? Other than that voice you keep in your head. So, Donnic was in the Rose.
He was not.
Easy, big girl. He wasn't shopping for himself. You're lucky to have a man who wants to please you. But maybe you could indulge him more. Are there areas of intimacy you haven't explored?
Why? Why do you give me these doubts?
Aveline, if you shove your thumb up his arse, I win.
Just... no.
You didn't come to my solstice dinner party.
Look at you. Dinner parties, cooking. Do you have a lace apron yet, or should I get one for you?
Don't change the subject. I sent you an invitation and you didn't show up.
I thought it would be... I mean, I don't know. I just don't do family gatherings. Besides, one day you and Donnic will have children and I'll be the last person you want around them. Imagine all the awkward questions you'd have to answer.
Mother, what's a slattern?
I'll just point at you and say, that's a slattern.
You're not nearly as selfish as you pretend.
Hey, you take that back.
You had your relic. You were gone. There was no reason for you to come back and face the Canary.
I still don't have a ship. I thought I could get one.
From a bunch of shipwrecked Canary?
From the Viscount. I just got here late.
I always knew you had a heart of gold.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Go ahead, say it.
Say what?
I saw you watching me.
I was looking at the clouds.
Don't give me that. I know you've been judging me. You think I'm out of control? How can I claim to speak for mages when I'm half demon myself?
The one over there looks a bit like a bunny rabbit.
A Starkhaven called for its lost prince, Sebastian. Would you give up if the city has moved on?
Like Ferelden moved on after Kalen.
You've been reading.
It's a good tale. I'm inspired by the Warden Alistair, but I doubt that's how you see me. I'm no tyrant. If people die restoring me to my place, they'll do it knowing the risk. If that doesn't satisfy, so be it.
After your actions here? No, it doesn't.
How can you keep standing up for her?
Who?
That doddering old biddy of a Grand Cleric.
How dare you? Elthina is everything a Grand Cleric should be. She's holy, wise...
spineless, hesitant. She's clay in Meredith's hands.
In the face of danger, sometimes the bravest thing is to stand back and trust that the Maker will see justice done.
Well, if doing nothing sums up your religion, then Elthina is perfect. Personally, I prefer a chantry that favors action over sloth.
You've made no secret of your intent to lead the mages here in Revolution.
Well, I've tried not to shout it from the rooftops. You've just been around when I talk with my friends.
Well, as we have mutual friends who for some reason don't want you to get hurt, let me tell you this. If you go forward with this revolt, the Chantry will bring its full might to bear. They will kill you.
Andraste was killed. That doesn't mean she failed.
Do not compare yourself to Andraste.
Are you loyal, Prince?
Guard Captain?
To Kirkwall, are you loyal? You're set on a title in Starkhaven, but we're having a crisis here.
This isn't just a Kirkwall concern. If this chaos spreads, Starkhaven will need a strong ruler to beat back the tide.
I've seen greater men than you use that excuse.
Noted and ignored, Captain.
Your husband agrees with me.
About what?
He thinks the Knight Commander's mad. He told me she's gone behind your back to investigate guardsmen she suspects as secret mages.
Even if that were true, he wouldn't tell you.
He won't fight for her when the time comes. Would you turn against your own husband?
I don't know if you're lying or crazy. I have to admit, Anders, of the mages I know, you're the one I expected to go out in a blaze.
The day is young.
It was a compliment, you ass.
No, it wasn't.
Do you regret it? What happened with your sister, I mean?
No.
You don't wish that maybe you hadn't found her again?
Whatever I wish, it is already done.
You're lucky then. There are so many things I wish I could undo.
How can you have so much faith? Does nothing bother you?
You're bothering me.
The Maker left us to our own devices generations ago. He's never going to step back in, start listening to our prayers again. He's gone. Doesn't that bother you?
He's a merciful lord. He could have destroyed our world when we failed him, but instead, he gave us a chance at redemption. Should we not be joyful? I saw you at the Chantry last week, Fenris, but I haven't seen you back since.
I was only delivering something. You needn't concern yourself.
But you were praying. Or was that part of the delivery?
I was trying to blend in.
Oh yes, you wouldn't want to ruin your reputation.
Don't you have a city to reconquer? Terrible things do happen, Sebastian.
But what we see is only a piece of the puzzle. Only the Maker can see the greater picture.
The guilty prosper. Innocents die.
And then they are brought to the side of the Maker. Their suffering ends. There is always a greater purpose.
Daenerys once killed a little boy to fuel blood magic that let him impress his fellow senators at a party. What was the purpose there?
Perhaps it was witnessing that which will give you the strength to prevent it ever happening again.
Do you still support the Knight Commander?
I don't care a fig for her. But she's the only one holding back the madness in this city.
Holding back? She's howling at the bloody moon. Even her own people think she's lost it. What will it take for you to see that she's crazy?
Mages in glass houses shouldn't throw fireballs.
It's our duty to tell the Templars.
Then why haven't you done it?
I guess I was hoping they'd come to it on their own.
And then you wouldn't have to betray Hawke's friends, right?
That's not reason enough to allow a Maleficar to walk free.
You think the Templars don't know I'm here? They just haven't caught me yet.
Which of us should do it? Shall we draw lots?
You want to turn them in? You work it out with Hawke.
By now, you must see what an injustice the Templars are.
Must I? I see Templars trying to control what they have good reason to fear.
But they go too far.
Talk to Hawke about her mother. Ask her who went too far.
You can't hold all mages responsible for that.
It doesn't take all mages to cause this. Only the weak ones.
I can't believe you're still not taking sides.
I told you, I only like to be on top.
I mean against the Templars. You like freedom, right? You hate slavery. Why wouldn't you side with the mages?
Maybe I just don't like you.
You're too quiet, Varric.
I'm thinking of switching to romances. Nothing? Not even a foreboding frown?
I am content. Write what you will.
Well, that certainly takes the fun out of it. Contentment in the barracks? We'll pay to hear that shit.
And I should have thought of it years ago. Yes?
Is it like you thought? It's nice, isn't it? He seems nice.
Yes, he's very nice.
I know, and you're so cute when you're with him. Not like normal you at all.
Haven't you got something unholy to do?
No, we're following Hawk. That's important too.
Do you have many dealings with the Knight Commander?
Please don't start with that. I'm not a Templar. I'm the captain of the guard. We arrest burglars. The Knight Commander never gives us a thought.
Grand Cleric Elthina is worried about her. She's stopped taking the Chantry's advice.
Her job's not easy. Certain forces in the city are allied against her.
Don't try to be subtle. I'm right here.
Clearly our Templars need strong leaders.
Until something changes, that's Meredith. And we must give her any support we are able.
How's marriage been treating you, big girl?
It's been good. No, great. I'd forgotten what it was like to...
Be flipped arse over tits and hammered like a bent nail?
to be loved.
Oh, right, of course.
Not that I'm complaining about the other thing. You know, Isabella, if someone had told me that I'd put up with you for all these years, I'd have punched them flat.
And if someone had told me I'd still be here, I'd have done the same.
Save your bits. You'll have your ship one day.
And what would you do without me as a constant headache in the road?
Someone would rush to fill the hole. You know, like you never left.
That's my girl.
Maybe you win once in a while.
There is justice in the world.
Is there? You want to free the mages. Let's say you do, but to get there, you kill a bunch of innocent people. What about them? Don't they then deserve justice?
Yes.
And then what? Where does it end? It's like a bar brawl. People are continuously pulled into the fray and nobody remembers why it started. Justice is an idea. It makes sense in a world of ideas, but not in our world.
Not all mages are weak.
True. Bethany, for instance, was not weak.
You specifically don't mention me.
That's also true.
I'll prove to you that I'm not weak.
Prove it to yourself. You're convincing no one else.
So, the Knight Commander. Boiling in oil? That one never gets old.
This is past time for joking.
I'm helping you indulge in elaborate revenge fantasies. I think it's good for you.
Meredith will die. Do not doubt that.
Oh, go away, Justice. Can Anders come out and play?
Stop.
You are no fun anymore. So, 3 Templars walk into a tavern.
Not right now, Varric.
You feeling all right, Blondie? You're always in the mood for Templar jokes.
So who is Bianca?
My crossbow. Say hello, Bianca.
But why Bianca? You must have named her after someone.
Nope. Mirabelle was taken.
The way you fondle your weapon is disturbing.
Hey, I'm a perfect gentleman. In public. You've been glowering for days. Your face is gonna get stuck that way.
My face is the least of my concerns right now.
That's because you don't have to look at it. If you could see it from this angle, Blondie, it'd be at least a close second on your priority list.
I notice you hardly ever comment on mages and Templars and such.
It's a lot of humans in skirts. I get them mixed up.
I highly doubt that. The subject comes up all the time.
Tell me about it.
And no opinion, one way or the other.
Opinions are like testicles. You kick them hard enough, doesn't matter how many you got.
That's... something.
You know you still owe me 5 sovereigns, Elf.
I'm good for it.
So you think you can win the coin from Isabella? Good luck with that. Coming to the Hanged Man for Wicked Grace later?
Never miss it.
So, you and Hawk?
What about us?
I want to make sure I get all the details right when I tell this story. Did you sweep her off her feet, or was it the other way around?
I'm not telling you anything but this. There was no actual sweeping involved.
Every little bit helps, Elf.
Aveline, you look after Hawk, won't you?
Of course I will. What kind of a question is that?
And sometimes Isabella gets into awful trouble. You'll watch out for her too.
Meryl, what brought this on?
Anything could happen. You'll protect them, though. It's what you do.
There's nothing to worry about, Meryl.
Aveline, what's in your mirror?
What do you mean?
In your mirror? What do you see?
A warrior? A wife? All the mistakes I made to get here and make it right. Why? What have you decided to see?
Sometimes it's hard to tell. Cracks, mostly. Maybe I'll borrow yours sometime, if that's all right.
It's all right.
Have I ever mentioned that I like your coat?
You do?
It's very lively, like a crow in the middle of hunting.
That's great. Thanks, Meryl.
You were too willing to involve yourself in the affairs of others, Hawk. Each time you put yourself at risk, one day you will not be so lucky.
You have a better idea?
Guard what you have, keep your head low.
Like a dragon, guarding my treasure hoard.
That's not what I meant.
Shall I eat passerby? Perhaps I can demand virgin sacrifices.
Even dragons are eventually slain, Hawk.
Happy to be out of the circle?
It's strange. I miss a lot. But other things. You're a far better Lady Hawk than I would have been.
I don't believe that for a second.
Is your family really from Kirkwall? I heard you were Ferelden.
My mother's family is from Kirkwall. We left for Eldon during the Blight.
Makes sense. Did you know the Warden?
No. Someone told me he even came to Lothering, but if so, I never saw him.
So, you're Hawk's sister?
The mage who went away.
Yes. Many families have them.
And are proud of them.
It shows.
I didn't expect you to stick around for this mess, Meryl. This has nothing to do with your elves.
Everything affects everything. We were born, a bunch of things happened, and now we're in a mess with our friends.
That seems too simple.
Simple is good. It sneaks up on you, makes you smile. Or maybe it says, hey, over there! And kills with a pin.
Meryl?
Simple, Aveline. Not stupid.
I'm surprised you agreed to come, Varric. You hate being underground, and you avoid the Carter the same way you do the Merchant Guild.
There's no way I'd miss watching you make these motherless nug-lickers cry.
When you tell people about our escape from Lothering, why do you make it sound like I had food all over my face?
You're larger than life, Hawk. I had to give you a few flaws just to make you approachable.
Did you just call me fat?
Yes, that's pretty much how I tell it. Hawk rolled into the fray like a gigantic pudding covered in gravy. It's more dramatic that way.
Does it have to be gravy? Couldn't it be chocolate instead?
Everyone's a critic.
I'm glad to see you out of the gallows.
Not the occasion I would have chosen, but we do what we must.
Always?
Always. I'm fine, Aveline. Life is what I need it to be.
And what you want?
I wouldn't always have said so, but yes.
All right, tell me. How does it end?
Beg your pardon?
That guard story of yours, the one with the guardsman who falls in love with a Templar Knight captain.
Oh, the romance. Swords and shields. I just started that serial. It's got 10 chapters to go.
Well, yes, but you know how it ends. Just tell me.
I've got an idea, but the story will go where it wants to go. The characters drive it, not me.
You're the author. That makes no sense at all.
A good story you don't really write. It was always there. You just uncover it.
I was speaking to Donick the other day.
Since when do you talk with my husband?
He comes to the mansion once a week. We play Diamondback.
What? Why am I not invited to these games?
He says you get angry when you lose.
I do not. All right, perhaps I do. Still, that's no reason not to tell me.
He's a good man, Aveline. I enjoy his visits.
Fine, fine. Have your man time, then.
He's a lot less...
Do you feel like a citizen, Fenris?
Excuse me?
You've been in Kirkwall as long as I have. Does it feel like home?
It feels. That itself has been a surprise.
I think I know what you mean. Thank you for that tip, Fenris.
You caught them then?
Yes, a whole nest of slave runners working out of the Undercity.
I imagine you imprisoned them?
Sadly, they never made it to prison.
You always know how to make me smile, Aveline.
There's a war coming. Does it feel different, fighting by choice?
You were never ordered to kill?
I was a soldier, but I was willing.
I was willing as well, but not by choice. If that makes any sense.
Does anything in this mess?
You really believe, don't you?
What are we talking about?
Believing. You do, I can tell. In freedom, in mages, in good spirits, in bad Templars, with more fire than the sun.
And your point is?
I miss it sometimes. Things being certain.
Some things are certain.
Not anymore. Do you think you'll leave Kirkwall someday?
Of course I will. As soon as I get myself a ship, I'm sailing wherever the sea takes me.
I'll miss you. You'll write to me, won't you? Do pirates write letters?
Badly. Hook hands make for awful penmanship, kitten.
Your keeper did not deserve that death.
It was my risk to take. I never asked her to do this for me.
She knew you didn't have the strength to resist the demon. That's why it picked you.
Why are you doing this? What can I do about it now?
Make up for your mistakes. Most blood mages never get a second chance.
I've heard rumors about Starkhaven, you know. They say you eat the dead up there and murder strangers in the street.
Why do I suspect that when you say you've heard rumors, you mean you've invented some?
6 of one, half dozen of another. You know, Quiet Boy, I wouldn't normally say this, but the shiny white armor, it works for you.
That's uncharacteristically kind of you, Varric.
Makes you look like a lacquered pilot whale.
Ah, now that was much more in character. You know, if you have time, I could give you a few archery pointers.
Excuse me?
Sometimes your shots veer a little left. I thought maybe your cocking ring was off. I could take a look if you like.
You want to touch Bianca's cocking ring?
It was just a thought.
So, I've known you for 3 years now. I give up. You beat me. What is it? You like boys, sheep, you slept with your sister?
What are you talking about?
What are you hiding? Nobody's this bloody clean. After you leave the chantry, you get drunk at the hangman and walk around in women's clothes.
I've been honest with you and Hawk.
Liar.
Lying is a sin. Do you ever feel like the one?
Aveline, do you think we'll win?
Win what?
In the end. It feels like something is ending, doesn't it? Do you think we'll win?
Nothing is ending, Meryl. Things are a little tense, but it will pass.
I hope we win. Varric will make it a good story, I'm sure.
How are you at finales, Varric?
I'm expecting some practical experience fairly soon.
Make it a good one, will you?
For you, madam, endless sunsets and roses.
Varric.
And the swift hand of the law sweeping all aside. I thought it went unsaid.
Why are you still here, Varric?
Starkhaven's too pretentious for me, and Cumberland's too boring.
You always say you hate commitment, but here you are, 6 years later, still at Hawk's side.
Dabbling. I thought you'd have noticed by now. I lie a lot.
They used to say that
Strange. I always thought I'd wind up arresting you someday.
If I ever decide to get caught, Aveline, you'll be the guard I let catch me.
Let catch you?
Decide to get caught didn't trip you up, though. Good to know.
Your master must have been a terrible man to make you hate mages so.
He was. Now he's dead.
We're not all like him.
How often I hear that, and yet how often I find it's not true.
The Keepers are different. They exist to preserve the old ways and to protect our people.
And none of them would ever fall prey to a demon, or perform blood magic.
It's impossible to talk to you.
You seem especially broody today.
Does it bother you? Should I stop?
No, don't stop. But could you add some smouldering to the routine? Just for me?
Smolder?
Oh, and while you're at it, perhaps some cold insolence.
You want me to smolder and be cold at the same time? Those don't go together.
Shush. Don't distract me with your logic.
Poor Anders.
You pity him. He's dangerous to himself and everyone around him.
I think he's broken the thing he wanted to save.
You pity him because he's you.
Breaking the things you love most isn't restricted to mages, Fenris.
Sadly true. So you engaged a Kunari dreadnought in battle?
They engaged me in battle. I was just trying to get away. Sailing into the storm was a gamble. Took care of the dreadnought, but it did us in too. Can't win them all.
Where I come from, we would call that insanity.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
This keeper of yours, she was a friend?
She was like a mother to me. To all of us.
Then I'm sorry.
No, you're not. She's just one more mage to you. Why would you be sorry she's dead?
I'm not sorry she's dead. I'm only sorry she died for you.
What?
Let's hope the sacrifice of someone who cared for you that much isn't wasted. I still can't believe Hawk saved you.
You've been saying that for years. Would you have turned me over to the Kunari?
No, but I know what they do to their prisoners.
Execute them horribly, I imagine.
The Kunari waste nothing. They would re-educate you into a loyal follower of the Qun.
Could I refuse?
There's always Kamek, which turns you into a mindless laborer. Like I said, they waste nothing.
Oh.
If you wish to thank Hawk, she's standing right there. So that's it. You're not returning to Starkhaven now.
There are greater things that need to be done, Fenris.
And what about avenging your family? Does that not need to be done?
What has my vengeance accomplished except to spill more blood? No, I must put my faith in the Maker. He will set my path before me.
I can't decide if it is certainty you have or blindness.
At least you can't decide.
What does your chantry do? I mean, you keep saying how great it is. Anders and Isabella tell me to stay away from it, but what does it do? Among the Dalish, the keepers teach the children, preserve our history, perform magic. The priestesses here just sing.
The Chantry does many charitable works. It cares for widows and orphans.
Who in the Dalish would just be part of the clan, like everyone else? I just don't get it.
You've been watching me all day. It's getting a little distracting.
Meryl's right. Your armor is shiny. I can see myself in it. Look. Shit. Oh, shit. Is that a wrinkle? Is that a wrinkle between my brows?
I don't see...
Hold still.
I've always wondered, how do your divines choose their names?
They write all the best sacred names on slips of paper and stuff them in a mitre. Then, the newly elected divine picks a name out of the hat.
What if she picks a name she doesn't like? Does she have to keep it?
Of course she does. How do you think we got 4 divines named Hortensia? That was very brave, coming back to face the Kunari.
It was idiotic. They would have killed me.
And you returned anyway. You couldn't face the thought of so many innocents dying for something you could prevent.
Tell that to the Viscount.
It's frightening, isn't it? To realize you have the potential to be a better person.
It's been years, and not once have you tried to get me to repent or turn to the Maker.
Preaching seldom works, Isabella. To change a person's heart, one has to lead by example.
Huh. That makes sense. I can respect that.
I grew weary of the strings of nameless lovers and the nights full of mindless pleasure. You will too.
That's the cruelest thing anyone's ever said to me. I think I'm going to cry.
Does your bow have a name? Varric's bow has a name.
I'm afraid I can't compete with our dear dwarf's relationship to his weapon.
You could call it Philomela.
Why would I do that?
Because it reminds me of a woman in the alienage. Skinny, pointed, and always throwing things at people.
You need to seek atonement.
I know I should have died there. not Morathari. Don't you think I feel guilty enough?
Guilt isn't a punishment. It's a reminder there are things you haven't set right. The only way to shed its burden is to repent with a sincere heart and rectify your failings.
But how? The Keeper is dead. My clan lost everything because of me. There's not enough I can do in this lifetime to make up for that.
It was your pride that led you to the demon. Admitting what you can't do is a good first step.
So, I've never understood why the Chantry says if you're good, you'll be taken up to the Maker's side.
Those who die with the sins cleansed from their souls will walk beside the Maker in eternity.
That doesn't sound fun. If they really want people to be good, shouldn't they offer an afterlife with lakes of wine and a dozen naked virgins?
Anyone who wants that will be going to the void.
Sounds like that's where all the good parties will be.
You should have this back.
Twine? When did I loan you a ball of twine?
You gave it to me when I first moved here when I kept getting lost in Lowtown. It drove the merchants in the market completely batty, but it did help me find my way.
Keep it, Daisy.
I don't think I'll be getting lost again anytime soon.
Well, you never know. Might need to tie a package up, hang a lantern, dress a roast chicken. It's multi-purpose.
Varric, how does one get made a paragon?
The assembly votes on it. Enough votes, and bam, you're a living god.
You should ask to be made a paragon of manliness.
Oh, I like the way you think, Ravani. But one doesn't just ask to be made a paragon.
Why not? Everyone can see you're a paragon of manliness. It's just a matter of making it official.
Is there a story behind Bianca?
There's a story behind everything, Daisy.
So tell me.
I can't.
Why not?
There was a girl, and I made a promise. Bianca is the only story I can never tell.
You can't say that. Now I want to know even more.
That was the idea, Daisy. After all this, the life of a pirate's going to be a bit dull, isn't it?
I know. I'll have to steal myself another Canary relic.
The scary thing is, I don't know if you're joking.
Of course I'm joking. I'm not getting involved with those people again. No. This time I'll steal the Queen of Antiva. There's no way that could go wrong.
And that wraps up today's companion dialogue video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow with another new Dragon Age 2 video.